Hey, what's up, friends? Tim here again with ABA Tech Software QA. Today, I'm going to share with you guys one thing you should do every time you go to a job interview. If you do this one thing, man, you're good. You ace the job. You're good. It's going to be a very quick tip, but it's actually something that you have to kind of put in your own wording. And if you do this, you're guaranteed to get any QA job. It's a wrap when you do. As a matter of fact, it not only works in QA, it works like in any field. It's just pretty much a secret tool, a secret sauce. I'm just going to share with you guys, kind of give it to you guys today. Pretty much, so when you go for an interview, it's called the "Tell Me About Yourself" approach. And with this "Tell Me About Yourself" approach, what you're doing is you're kind of like you're playing chess while your interviewer is playing checkers. In other words, you're thinking two steps ahead and you're actually disarming them from any particular questions they can ask. Because pretty much most QA interviews all pretty much go the same. I've been there, done that. I've been on both sides. I've actually interviewed candidates. I've actually gone through a lot of quick Q interviews. That's why I'm going to kind of share this knowledge with you guys today. So, what is that trick? Let's get to it. Name of the trick is called "Tell Me About Yourself." So, when they're talking about "Tell Me About Yourself," they're not saying, "No, where were you born? What do you like to eat? What your favorite sports team is? Where you went to college?" Things like that. They can care less. I'm just being honest. They can really care less about that. So, what they're thinking a lot of times, what the hiring manager or the recruiter is thinking a lot of times is that what can this individual bring to the table? So that's what they really want you to talk about. So basically, so what you have to be thinking, you have to be thinking in terms of what skill sets do I have that actually makes me a good fit for this particular position. So, for example, are they looking for someone to maybe help them execute SQL queries and verify that against a database to do database testing? Well, do you have those skills? So when you're telling me about yourself, you're weaving in, oh, yes, as a matter of fact, SQL, I have a lot of SQL experience. I enjoy using SQL. As a matter of fact, on this one project, I did this, this, and that. And that right there gets you in the door. So that's pretty much the mindset behind it. How can I interweave my skills into my story to make a perfect match? Because in other words, you always want to be thinking, how can I add value to this organization? You don't ever want to think in the terms of a taker, but you always want to think in the terms of a giver. What can I give to this organization? What are they lacking? And where can I plug in those holes? So that kind of really keeps you ahead of the game, so to speak. So let me give you a quick script about tell me about yourself. And we're gonna build this tell me about your script, tell me about yourself script around three main factors: SDLC, the technical skills, and pretty much next steps. So, perfect interview. We're just gonna do a little role playing right here. So, I'm gonna be the interviewer and interviewee. So you guys just kind of play along. Don't laugh at me, man. We'll talk. All right. So here it is. Hi, Mr. Tim Eby. Welcome to our organization today. I see you wanted to apply for this job. How many years of experience do you have? Okay, seen your resume says blah blah blah. So, tell me about yourself. Pause, 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 pause. Let me pause right in our role playing. I'm going to tell you guys this. This tell me about yourself question. A lot of times it normally comes up at the very beginning of the interviews. But if you do your homework and you master the script, this tell me about yourself script, the interview is going to be over before it starts. That's a wrap. I've seen it. I've done it. It works. It happens. Because what you're going to do is you're going to sell yourself so well that the recruiter or the hiring manager is going to be like, man, I don't got nothing else to ask this dude. He's good. In other words, so what it is you've done your homework, you studied their website, you studied their documentation, you studied the job description, you've done your due diligence. So as you're crafting your tell me about yourself story, you're inserting. What a lot of people do is when it comes to telling about yourself, they just say something like, yeah, tell me about yourself, and they say one or two things and they stop talking. No, no, no. The secret of telling about yourself, you don't stop talking. You can talk for 15 straight minutes. Because at the end of the day, it's like who's in control? It's you versus them. You know what I mean? You're in there to sell yourself to them as much as you are trying to analyze them. Or do you even want to work for them, man? You gotta know that you're a person of value. You bring something major to the table, man. And I say you one in a million, so you gotta understand that. So people come in here with this mindset like, "Ooh, I just want this job." Nah, man, like you bring something valuable, especially if you do your homework and things like that, and you kind of understand you understand your business. So anyway, back to the story. So we're gonna press play. So yes, Mr. EB, please tell me about yourself. Go ahead, please. Hi, John. Yes, my name is Tim, and I've been in the software development lifecycle for about 5 years now. I have experience in the financial industry, consulting, technology industry. And how I got into the space is in one of my first jobs. When I was working in one of my positions, they were looking for beta testers, and I volunteered. Pause. See that word volunteer? That shows initiative. We're gonna go right back into the role playing. Play. I volunteered to be a beta tester and be one of the users to test this new application that our company was trying to deploy, and before they deployed to the mass group of individuals within the enterprise. So within our opportunity, I learned a lot about testing. I actually understood that I actually enjoyed it. I wrote bugs and I was able to kind of go back and do some regression testing, and I really enjoyed that. So with that, I was able to kind of gain experience, and I kind of delved deeper into the quality assurance field. And just to mention, I've also had the ability to actually lead software development life cycles. And just to let you know, John, I've been involved from the implementation of projects all the way to the initiation phase of the software development lifecycle. I've also had the opportunity to actually write test plans, and some of the contents of my test plans included the test schedule, the team member, the resources, the test strategy we're going to use. Some of it included the defect management process, some of the tools we're also going to be using as far as test plan is concerned. I've also had the opportunity to actually introduce processes to some of the organizations I've worked for. And just to let you know, John, as you know, in some organizations, processes are things that a company always wants to improve on. And one of the things that I had the opportunity to introduce at the last job I was working for is a sign-off process, because prior to me getting there, the organization didn't really have a proper sign-off process and things were very chaotic. So I came in, analyzed the situation, assessed it, and spoke to the managers and implemented a sign-off process, saying that before we move on to any other phase between the software development lifecycle, or even within testing, then make sure we get the proper sign-off. It can be an email, Word document, based on the stakeholders before we actually can move on in any phase of either the SDLC or the testing phase. So the sign-off is one thing I've implemented. Another thing I've implemented is the use of templates within our testing team to make sure we have uniform test cases, run our test plans, how we execute the test cases, the test data, and also the regression test process. And what I found out, John, is that one great thing that does, it helps us build uniformity, more consistency, and a lot of repeatable processes. And finally, last thing I'll mention, John, is some of the tools I've actually had the opportunity to introduce in organizations. I've had the opportunity to introduce Bugzilla in my previous project. Some other testing tools I've used HPQC. I've been exposed to HP Quality Test Professional and a variety of testing tools. I'm also familiar with CMM, the Capability Maturity Model, and the ISO 9000 standards that testers need to understand. So just wanted to share a little background about myself. And let you know I'm very interested in this job and looking forward to any next steps and the questions you have. But I definitely thank you for the great question. Thank you, John. Bing. Paul. So as you can see, guys, there with that question, probably took about, in my case, because obviously I don't want to make the video too long. I made it about myself about 3 minutes, but I've done some when I've gone to interviews about 15 minutes. I just go in details. I just thought that's not talking about the project. That's not talking about the project, what I did. I used the STAR approach, the situation. The task, what I did, and how the end result was. So I began to talk about it, what I brought to the table, some of the test skills I was able to implement. And before you know it, you begin to portray a lot of tremendous value. So just wanted to kind of share that with you guys today. Hopefully you were able to kind of get something from that. Again, the approach is called the Tell Me About Yourself approach. Again, you're not talking about your personal life. You're talking about your skill sets and how your skill sets can be plugged into that organization, but you have to be able to weave that into a story in a way that portrays value, it portrays confidence, it portrays skill set and know-how ability that you're able to bring to the organization. And before you know it, you got the job and you kind of good to go, man. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this and you felt that it was beneficial, leave a comment. We have an ABA Tech Software QA series coming up this month of November in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, tell your friends and family. Leave your email address. We'll definitely leave your email address in the comments. We'll get back with you on how you can get involved in the course. So that's about it, man. Until next time, you guys have a blessed day and stay up. Peace.